how it is. If you don't have a picture, it didn't happen. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. So my name is Jivela, and today I will be leading this conversation with these three beautiful, wonderful human beings, experts. And I guess maybe we can, before getting to know you guys, let's get to know who we have on stage. So maybe we can start with a quick round of introductions. And you can just share who are you and what brings you here to South Summit and why AI is part of your conversation.
I'll start. So I'm Ferran Garcia. I'm the Director of Transformation, Innovation and AI at Iberia. AI is bringing me here. I'm very excited to talking about something that I truly don't know where it's going, but surely somewhere very disruptive.
Well, so I'm Pedro López del Monte, also from Madrid. I've been many years working, helping brands like Cartier or Montblanc with their innovation in digital and e-commerce, and today I'm Chief Product Officer of Versailles, an AI voice concierge and clienteling platform. So it's also AI what brings me here.
Amazing. And my name is Ekaterina. I'm the Global Expansion Director in Eudora. We're the global gifting marketplace. So if you need to send your mom flowers to another country, this is the place to go. And my main job is actually overseeing the markets, because we are presented right now in 50+ countries. So we have a big diversity, like GCC, LATAM, Europe, UK, and those markets are very different. And it requires a lot of optimization of the processes, so we don't grow the team to 1,000 people. We're just 100 people running that many markets. And that's why we're going to talk a little bit today about AI and how we actually utilizing these cases and bring some more examples for you.
All right, amazing. Thank you for a quick introduction. So as you can see, we have a very diverse panels. But before we begin, it's very important to understand who is in the audience and where do we want to shape the conversation. So maybe we can do a quick game. Raise your hands. Who is the founder here and building something? OK, we have founder, two I can see in the back. Anyone from the investment landscape? Anyone is building something in e-commerce or working within e-commerce? OK, we have some e-commerce. Who else would you want to know who is in the audience? Any more questions for filtering?
Any retail brands?
Retail brands?
Who is curious maybe to start a startup?
Anyone curious to start a startup? OK, who is here to learn what's happening in the AI world and e-commerce? All right, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn. We're going to try to go through some kind of cases, the evolution, the risks, the opportunities happening within e-commerce and AI. And maybe we can start with, guys, you've been in this field for a really long time. You've seen the evolution. You've seen the different adoption. So what are the major changes in the last couple of years you are seeing, how AI is reshaping the e-commerce? Because the speed has elevated, right, and accelerated. Maybe, Ferran, we can start with you. What have you seen in Iberia? And you've been working with AI for so long.
So honestly, in the airline sector, we've been living a lot of transformation in the last 10, even 20 years. For example, OTAs, Expedia, for example. I'm sure that you have booked a flight through eDreams or even Skyscanner. This affected us a lot, but this new transformation, I think it's, I don't know if more profound, but it's at least as profound as it was, the OTA's appearance. As what we are seeing is that it's affecting not only the booking funnel, but also what is really important for us, which is after the booking, all the questions around, can I carry my luggage? Can I add an extra seat? Can I bring my dog with me? Many questions that we were not answering properly, and that our customers are trying to find out the solution in many AI solutions. And this is honestly decreasing our direct traffic. So for us, this is a very, very interesting change. And in the field of e-commerce and what's affecting the booking and the purchase, what we are seeing is that this is empowering a lot our customers, because this is giving the power to be much more precise on what they really want, and not only looking for origin destination dates, but really having much more flexibility on what is the type of plan that they are looking for, the type of price to explore much easily. So it's really changing the rules. So It's heavily impacting the experience in a good sense for the customer, and we are feeling that we really need to move quickly to be able to follow these changes, or it will happen as it happened with the OTAs, that we will lose in this battle a piece of the cake for others.
Okay, thank you very much, Varane. And then, Pedro, we've been talking just before coming on stage, but you are having a very different approach. You have the voice integration coming into place for customization, interface. Can you tell us a bit more about your perspective and how you are building?
Yes, my approach is greatly focused on experience. I think there is a huge over-optimization, especially on e-commerce, which is fine. But essentially, that's removed the whole experience. You go to any product category or any vertical, and all the websites are basically the same. Graphically, they are very similar. They offer the same functionality, and that's due to the over-optimization. Right? In 2015, we launched the first e-commerce site for Cartier in US. After 3-4 weeks, we sold the first watch over $10,000. So that proves that digital is a good commerce for retail. But after that, it's been a period of over-optimizations everywhere. And if you look, even if you take some screenshots of different brands' websites and you put it on perspective, you will never be able to say at first sight which one belongs to which one, right? So the thesis is that now the technology is mature enough to help us redefine how we operate online. And the whole point of retail is selling, but this started many, many years ago, many decades and even centuries, with physical retail, basically people speaking with people like we are doing here. And for humans, our most basic way of communication is speaking. And each one of us has our own way to express things, right? So when you face an over-optimized website, which has no experience at all, is very transactional, and you need to face the different filters that they have, which usually varies. They are the same filters, but with different parameters. It's usually a pain, right? Mm-hmm. If you have the possibility to speak with the website, same as you are speaking when you get into a store, into a boutique, and ask your questions, the experience is going to be much more engaging, and probably we are going to help optimizing even more, but by redefining the interface, which we believe is now already has given everything it had to be.
Okay, very interesting. And then immediately jumping to Ekaterina. So how is it for you? You're operating into over 50 plus countries with a very small resources. When you were sharing that your team is like pretty small in comparison with the amount of work you're doing. So how are you making sure that the right clients are reached and the experience is actually personal? Because nowadays it's we are seeking for those personalizations.
Yeah, personalization is definitely necessary, and today it gets as the must-have on the website, to be fair. And but in order to optimize the team, you need to, first of all, to hire the right talents, which is quite obvious, and people who you're able to grow. And then you optimize the process within the company. For example, we started with where the time was bleeding for us. For instance, we're taking a lot of time on responding to local sellers, imagine in many different languages. And we used to have a bigger customer support team to handle all the requests from the shops who are not able to deliver flowers at this particular time. So that was the first thing. Then we built the AI bot that handles already 40% of our requests. Then we started, okay, we need to communicate with our clients. How are we going to do this? Then we started, and one of my teams is CRM marketing. So we implemented one of the tools that is helping us to actually optimize all the channels. And it's very simple, because, for example, if you look at the different regions, like UAE and Brazil looks very different from the beginning. But at the same time, both of them share the same digital behavior. For example, they both very much into WhatsApp channel. And WhatsApp is one of our main means of communication to them. Like, of course, we're not talking about like push notifications, emails, but WhatsApp is number one. And AI helped us a lot to actually handle this because we do not waste time on making like all this research, okay, how many response we have, what's the open rate. AI handles this for us, and it saved us a lot of time. And this is just like some of the examples, like from we have done so far. Next part would be, as we just discussed, actually to implementing more personalization with AI, like within our app. We already have, like for example, if the people, like we check in the live events, if people like wanted to buy the flowers, but they briefly check the plants, then we have the follow-up email saying, we have this amazing discount for this plant you just checked. And then people are more likely to buy, and that's how we grow our retention. And checking these live events is also helped us to actually build up our retention. Particularly in Spain, actually, we grew this category like to the second stage, like within the past year, by doing simply that.
I love, guys, what you're saying and different perspectives, but we go back to one shared maybe fear for people who are integrating AI in their businesses is personalization and data. How do you tackle all the, especially European legal requirements when it comes to data, and you trying to create the best experience for your customers? Maybe you can give your examples, how to navigate that and make sure that we are, in Europe at least, GDPR aligned and don't step over the boundaries.
Personally, I think that's a key question because what we've seen, at least in companies such as Iberia, is that if you have not invested in data, governance, how you structure things, how you comply with GDPR, with AI Act, you are really constrained by what you can actually do. You can personalize, but without any context. In our case, we are lucky because we've been investing many years in data, even before AI, and we are benefiting from that. When any AI is providing a personalization, a recommendation, even what I was saying before, what we are seeing with this is that the customer is empowered, so they are asking more and more things. The answer that we can provide, it's as good as the data you have. Otherwise, you are not really empowering the customer. You are just giving what you can. So in our case, honestly, it was a good bet to have invested in that, and we are seeing that we are moving faster maybe than others just because we have already the data where we need to have it, and we are trying. The difficulty is to try to link external AIs with our data and still being compliant, but at least we have data. And we are seeing many organizations that what the issue that they have is that they don't even have the data, so regulation it's even something on top. But what we are, the only issue that we're having is how we can provide this data to external AIs with, on top of this being compliant, but we have data and governance around this.
Can I say a word? Like I feel that for startups especially, it's a little unfair to actually compare to Iberia, who is collecting like ton of data with complete consent, and then you can actually use it a lot for like to work on the retention, communicate to the clients. But if we're speaking about e-commerce, like people are not able to actually get so much data usually, and what you only can do is to observe the behavior on your platform. If we're speaking about e-commerce here. And that's where it gets tricky, because, for example, Shein got fined, and Shein, like Chinese company, and China. How many of you have been to China? Anybody? Have you seen what's happening with e-commerce there? How Temu entered? They just bombarded Europe, literally how they entered. And I used to live in China for 8 years, and I worked in e-commerce in China. So like I saw how it was growing there, actually how everything was built in. And they set the standard for personalization. But Chinese were grabbing a lot of data and getting fines here in Europe for it right now. Shein, I think, got a fine for 150 million euro. Yeah. So like e-commerce are not able actually to gather so much data, even though 80% of people actually, according to the research, said that they are okay to share the data if you're being asked to do it. For example, for your case, like if you ask, then people share and they're okay with it. But unless you are just seeding some cookies like Shane did and grabbing all the info about them, then it's already gets complicated and then you're going to get a fine. So you always need to understand the user, understand your client, where they're ready to share data like with you, and then you can work with it. This is, I think, the way how you can like balance it.
One reaction of this, sorry, on this.
Okay.
Because totally agree. Just one comment on the servicing part and to what we are seeing, at least in Iberia, is that yes, there is maybe before booking where a really big amount of data is benefiting because you can personalize more, you can give better recommendations. But after the booking, it's not even about the quantity of data, it's the availability of data. So knowing when a customer is calling you or it's writing to you, have the context in real time of what's happening to this customer, so the customer doesn't need to identify himself, explain what's happening. Okay, you're having a disruption, your flight is delayed, so I can answer to you. It's disponibility on data. You don't need to have really a huge amount of data, but it's what makes a customer repeat and say, okay, Iberia, sometimes I can have a delay, but they can manage this amazingly. So I would say I agree with you with the quantity, but I think even on even avoiding the quantity piece, but just availability, but because knowing that you solved something and that there is an issue, it's something you don't need even GDPR. It's something that it's your own data, and it's amazing. It's amazing customer experience that it's where the only challenge, for example, that we are facing, it's not have the data, it's connecting to the AI, especially if it's not our own AI, but I think it's an amazing use case too. And just a comment on.
Well, I think, yeah, it's obvious. The data is important, not only the quantity, I agree, but also I think the quality. I think that's where AI first needs more quality. For example, we are working with a watch brand. When we made the first demo for them, we prepared a very simple demo. And I was testing, the first test I did, it was, okay, give me the blue watches. And the second or third result was a watch with a brown leather strap in silver with the blue hands. The tiniest piece, so the search was correct from a search perspective, from a technical perspective, but maybe not for what I was looking for, right? So it's the quality of the data and the way the agents interpret what the client is asking is very important, and the experience is going to be as good as your data. But also, the quality goes both ways. The AI, especially voice interfaces, in my opinion, are going to unleash a new dimension for capturing data, not in the volume, but in the quality, right? And this is going to enable brands on the fly, or retailers on the fly online, understanding the client better, right? Because we give more context when we are speaking. We don't not only express intent, what are we looking for, but also why, right? So I'm looking for a travel to go to Mumbai. Is it work? Is it leisure? And I'm going to give more context, or I'm looking for some flowers, and I want flowers specifically for this in this date or in that day. So that's not hyper-personalization, is also hyper-contextualization, right? And the client is not the same today than it's tomorrow. It's the same client, but maybe the mood is different, or the context has changed. So I think data has a lot of different shades, and with AI, well, it's exciting. We need to work very much, and we are going to find a lot of things to do, but we are going to improve very much the experience.
Also, I think a little concerned that Europe is kind of an exception for the regulations and for the trust. Because in other countries, for example, if you put the same amount, if you get as much information in Europe, and work with it in Brazil, it's more likely not going to work. Because there they would require more personalization, because they are actually less regulated and more trustworthy for as clients in e-commerce specifically. Same goes for majority of the countries. So Europe is kind of an exception where you cannot use an example. It's as a global expansion director, that's why I'm comparing the markets in case anybody would ever want to go global. So do not take Europe as regulated in order to work with data. You have much more abilities in other markets, for example, Latin America, MENA, China. With one click, you get all the information about the people. And there you can work much more with personalization and like any features, retention, details, and a lot of things, basically.
But I think it's a trade-off. So I'm comfortable sharing information. I don't know if you have tested any of your social networks without identifying yourself. For me, they are terrible. My Instagram or YouTube or whatever, I cannot find anything I remotely like in those without identifying myself. So it's a trade-off. I'm happy to give some data. I'm not happy to give all the data, right? So if a company doesn't need my bank account, right, or if I'm married, or if I have kids to operate, I don't want to give that. But beyond that perimeter, I'm very happy to give data, my behavioral data, where I operate. So maybe in Europe, I agree, it's a bit too rigid, but probably they need to relax a bit, but also make it a bit more friendly, and other countries should also restrict. I don't think China is a very good example of extreme performance, but I don't know if we want to go there.
Yeah, that's a trade-off.
Okay, but since we're in Europe, and let's see what we can do here right now. So let's say all the people in the mid-sized company right now, or creating brands working, what should be their first bigger AI investment within an organization and their businesses in commerce that they should consider making if they haven't started actually using it yet?
And where they're wasting time on operations. No, clearly, because it's very expensive, and expensive time-wise to have a big team, to have to train them, then they can leave, you know, like there are a lot of complications in HR. I don't know how many of you here are actually on the hiring positions, but if you ever work with managers, you know, if you ever worked as a manager, you know that like you want your team to stay with you for a long term. And you need to train them, you want to grow them. So that's why like you are not willing to have thousands of people under you, because it's complicated for you to oversee everything. And also it's complicated for people to work. So optimization of the process, what people can handle with AI today, like for example, in our company, we have AI trainings for all our employees. We have AI club, literally, where people can bring up their initiatives and build whatever agents, and we want them to actually to do it themselves, no matter from which field they are. Doesn't matter if it's a copywriter or it's a programmer, because this way we're also educating people to grow their teams by themselves by using AI, and that's helped us as an example of a mid-level company. So like I can share what we've done, and I think that was the most useful for us, that we didn't have to hire more people in a year, like maybe like 1 or 2 like hires, but that's it. And we still managed to grow the markets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree. I think the pain point is a good way to start, your biggest pain point and the resources. And I think giving tool to your employees is very important, but also AI is a very good tool to train them, right? Mm-hmm. To train them how to optimize. It's not that because you are going to implement AI to do whatever task, that's going to work from day one. And actually, what we have observed, we also use AI for optimization. What we have observed each time we have implemented AI for a new task is that there is a curve, right? At the beginning, AI is performing very well, then there is a slope, and then it normalizes. And that's because at the beginning you are paying, as a human, we work like that, you are paying a lot of attention, then you get overconfidence and you don't pay attention at all, and then the quality drops significantly, and then you kind of make it even. But the opportunity is very big. I did a study, I'm not going to extend, but I did a study of the cost of an, hybrid team with AI versus a full-fledged human team. It was 2 orders of magnitude, the cost. It was $1 million versus $50,000. So the cost and the capability that enables, especially small startups, to move ahead quickly, being lean and frugal with resources is amazing.
By the way, like just to complement my point, like I don't mean that AI can substitute people.
Yeah.
Like AI is a tool for people, but not a substitute. Like Klarna was a case for it, where like probably everybody knows where it didn't work for them well.
No, I think in this case it's similar for a big corporate such as we are. And still, I think that there are also other big challenges that I would invest in. For example, I think UX and usability in general, it's a field where we are far from where we will be. For example, I was imagining voice, e-commerce just with voice. I don't know if we are prepared to just purchase something just with voice, or we need to see something. As you were saying, I fully agree, the usability of web pages, apps are not ready for that. They are really optimized, and I don't know that, I think we are not ready to move directly to just voice. You don't see anything. There's a point in the middle. For example, something that we are trialing, and last year we announced here that we were the first ones on launching a GPT channel. Just text, working as you are changing from only really optimized to just text, working, not that good. Now we are announcing this year we are launching GPT app, aiding some usability. We'll see. I think it's not the final point. As with voice, you still need to see the product. No,
totally.
You were saying in the past. I fully agree with you. In the past was voice with voice, but seeing the actual product that you were trying to buy, I think that will end up in the middle. I think this is one thing. Then I think that there's another field where we are not ready, and I would definitely invest, which is technology. What we are seeing in the airline, and I'm sure it's the same in all the e-commerce, is that people are asking for things that they were not asking before. I want to travel to the beach with my kids, my dog, and 1 week for less than 500 euros. In terms of technology, okay, there's AI, but I have to say to the AI, if I have this, and what's the cost? And it's not only one, it's data. We have already talked about data, but this is being able to bring this data to AI. And for me, this technology piece is also really, really disruptive, because AI is giving a lot of flexibility and empowerment to the customer, but the AI needs the support, the grounding, and that's data plus technology. And I'm sure we are not ready, and I'm sure 90% of corporates are not ready, and we really need to invest on this one too.
Okay.
Definitely. Just one quick allusion. Yeah. You are totally right. That's why I say we are trying to refine e-commerce, because we were 1.5 months ago in a trade fair in Geneva, and we were showcasing our products, and we showed this product to some people, not from the industry, but some people. And some of the people testing it, they were frozen. They didn't know which is a bit strange, but they didn't know how to react with a window that you cannot click, that you only speak, right? So definitely it needs to be step by step, and we cannot do the transition taking a big leap.
All right, data infrastructure, step by step. Ekaterina, any final perspective?
My final perspective is that people have to treat AI as a tool. And remember that human still matters, because we shouldn't break the human experience. AI helps us with it when we say that, like, let's go to the beach with the dog and the 2 kids, or I want to order flowers for my mom, and I don't know what bouquet to choose. And those experiences, that what AI, I think, would help us to humanize more. And that, I think, is a great advantage these days.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of time. So questions on a side, and just reach Ekaterina, Pedro, and Ferran for any more questions and further discussions. As you can see, the stage got heated, great different perspectives, and you should tap yourself on the shoulder. Thank you for showing up for such an early hour. And yeah, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the conference.